Hello everybody, this is the video for week 4 of the Kombucha Lab. Week 4 is a really important week because it is the week where you're going to practice all of the things that you'll be doing in weeks 5, 6, and 7. Happily, the results from week 4 are not actually super important. We want you to do week 4 because the results from weeks 5, 6, and 7 are very important. So in order to be sure that those results come out good, we have week 4, which is the week where you practice all of the techniques. You're going to go through everything one time. And then next week in week 5, you'll look at your results, see what kind of changes you want to make to your procedure so that when you do your week 5 procedure, it will come out really good and you can use those results. So the main goal of week 4 is to practice so that you're prepared for future weeks. You're going to be doing 2 specific things today or this week that you'll do again in the future. The first thing is making observations of your kombucha jars. So you made these jars last week. They have been fermenting for 1 week now, and you're going to make observations for the first time today of the fermented product. And so the people that really need to pay the most attention to this are person B, person C, if you have a group with person C, and person A, who's going to be doing results next week. So it's really important that you be looking ahead to see what you can learn from the person who's doing this week the job that you're going to have next week. So whenever you are the result person, you will go to this observations of kombucha jars page in the lab manual. It will tell you exactly what to write down about each jar and what pictures to take. Be sure that you follow the picture directions. Once you have your pictures taken, you will rename them to give them descriptive names that are specific to today. Once you have those names, you're going to write that name in your lab manual in your lab notebook, and you're also going to upload the pictures to your group's OneDrive folder. So all of this is part of the result responsibility. Again, if you're not doing results this week, but you're doing results next week, do pay attention to what the result person is doing today so that you'll be ready for next week. The other big thing that your group is doing today is making dilutions of your kombucha jars and spread plating them. So you guys will be using the micropipetters for the first time. You'll be labeling your plates, making the dilutions, and spread plating. This is a whole bunch of new techniques this week. And so each of you is going to be learning a lot about how to do things and how to not do things in the future. This will be an especially important week for person A and person F, who is going to be future person A, right? And so as person A, you want to not just read through the procedures and make sure that they make sense to you, but mentally walk through them. And this is why we have you guys make the flow chart. Like, I want you guys to think through what exactly is my group doing in lab this week, which of the tasks can be done at the same time, which of the tasks need to be done first one and then the other, so that when you get to lab, person A can provide some direction for the overall group. Make sure that everything goes really smoothly and that you get finished on time. As you know, week 4 is practice for future weeks. The future weeks will have more stuff to do in them. So everything that you do in week 4 will need to be both more accurate and faster going forward. So again, this is a big effort for everybody, especially person A. And so person F, please pay attention this week so you'll know how to be an awesome person A next week. The things that most frequently go wrong with the dilutions and plating is contamination. And so you are completely covered in microbes, and the building has a lot of mold in it. And so the more that you leave your tubes and plates open, the more contamination you can get. And so you'll want to be wearing gloves. when you're wearing gloves, like don't touch your face or your hair, because then you'll just be getting microbes on your glove, and then it's not super different than not wearing a glove. So be wearing gloves. Be careful to not touch things while you're wearing the gloves. Keep your plates closed as much as possible, so that they don't get mold spores from the air. Just be really conscientious of keeping everything shut and not touching anything with your actual fingers. This includes the tubes in the jar. So you'll dump the tubes out into the lid of the jar. Don't reach into the jar with your hand. Don't touch the spreader with your hand. Don't set the spreader on the table. Just be aware that there are microbes everywhere, and they would be delighted to make it into your plate and grow and overwhelm your plate and make it ugly. So just keep them out by being super careful. The other thing that your group is going to be doing this week is officially designing your kombucha for next week. Whoopsie. So writing this down is going to be the job of the next steps person, which is typically person F. You have already submitted a plan for, this is going to be the second go round of making your kombucha. You've already submitted a plan for this. This Design Kombucha today gives you a chance to change the plan. So you'll make the control and experiment 1 jars the same as you have already made them. You already said what you wanted to make the experiment 2 jars with. But if you have changed your mind since then and you have a way cooler idea, then you can switch to that plan and just explain it in your next steps. So whatever you write today is what you're going to be making for your kombucha next time. You can use what you wrote before, or you can write a new thing. Okay. So for the pre-lab this week, this pre-lab is a little similar to previous and a little different. So it's going to have an online Moodle quiz, quote unquote quiz part, where you go online, answer the Moodle questions, and then it has this paper pre-lab. The thing that is really different about this paper pre-lab is item number 1, the successful pipetting test. You must physically take yourself and your paper to the biology office, and you have to do the pipetting test. You'll see that test is in quotation marks because it is not intended to be a high pressure situation. You are supposed to know what you're doing before you come. So you must read in the lab manual or watch the videos about how to use pipetters. Don't show up with no idea. But once you've read or watched the videos, come to the biology office. The available times will be listed on Moodle. You will probably mess up your first time because you're probably new to this. And so you can repeat the test as many times as you need until you get everything correct. And then the person who is watching you, which is probably going to be a student worker, will give you a sticker. You will put the sticker on your pre-lab. This sticker is worth points. Do not lose this sticker, and be sure that you leave yourself time to go to the biology office. That's number 1. Number 2 is to look at all of these volume window pictures and write down what the volume is and which pipetter is being used. Okay. Do you guys see this symbol right here? This is called the mu, MU. It is the microliter symbol. See how it has this long tail at the front? You must write that symbol. If your symbol has no tail, then it is just an M. If it has a tail at the back, it is a Y. Neither of those are the right symbol. So you must write the mu symbol that looks like this. Very important. Be sure that you do this. It is worth points. Okay, so you do number 2. It's going to be important that you do this in color because the red numbers have a specific meaning. All right, on to the next page. So you'll do number 3. For number 3, you'll look in the lab manual. There are really specific directions about how you label the plate. We have in the past had students who quote unquote work together on number 3 and number 4. This where it is unclear which student has done which work. So this has resulted in 2 students or more turning in papers that exactly match. This is really challenging. We can't give points for those papers because we don't know who has done the work and who deserves the points. Um, and then the students end up kind of embarrassed. It's just not a great situation for anyone. So when you get to this page, you may absolutely ask your friend for help on how to do it if you get stuck. Ideally, you will go to the lab manual and unstick yourself. But if you're still stuck, ask your friend. But under no circumstances should you look at their paper and write down what they have. That will only end in fiasco. Please do not do that. Here for number 4, you're going to have to write how you make dilutions. For this, you will choose your own final volume. Like you can make 1,000 microliters or 100 microliters. So this is another one where sometimes students feel confused and they want extra help and they ask their friend and they write down the same thing that the friend has and then disaster. And so do not do that. Instead, you can talk to your friend, see how they've done it, but pick your own total volume. So your total volume could be like your birthday or your sports roster number or the last digit of your phone number or your address. Or the way to protect yourself against accidentally turning in copied work is to use total volume numbers that are specific to you. Very important. Okay, that's it for week 4. Let your instructor or your TA know if you have any questions.